The Pod Show by Beat Fact Music. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Go and hit Beat Fact Music. BEATFAKMUSIC. Hit that subscribe button. Also, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check it out. Now let's get to the show.
PICK6IX Week 3 starts now.
Daniel Whelan the hold. The kick is blocked. It is blocked. The Browns get the swat and turn the Packers away. Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good. The kick is good. And Andre Schmidt from 50.
It's blocked. Field goal attempt is blocked. Scooped up and will be taken all the way for a Jets touchdown. Will McDonald returns it into the end zone.
Under center. He has time. Running out. Flushed out. Young towards the corner. He's there. Touchdown, Carolina.
It's a 2nd and 9. And Browning scanning, throwing, picked off. Intercepted by Isaiah Rodgers. And he's racing down the sideline. And he will not be caught. Going the distance.
Penix with time is intercepted.
That's completely on Penix. 100%.
Shaw Smith-Wade takes it in.
You never saw him, Alex.
Week 3 in the books. Wow, what an eventful week 3. Wow. A bunch of pick sixes with a drink, a large fries, and of course an apple pie on the side. 4 blocked field goals, all in the fourth quarter. I think 2 of them led to touchdowns. The Giants and the Jets combined are 0-6. I mean, the 49ers somehow are 3-0. Like, Daniel Jones is 3-0. Like, wow. So, yeah, this is going to be a very, very, very intriguing pick six. But this is the NFL. And this is why I say predictions are not something that I'm a fan of. You know, like I said, you see all these analysts and all that come out and make their preseason division winners, and then they do a playoff bracket, and then they do their Super Bowl. I don't do that stuff. Nobody would have told you that Daniel Jones would be 3-0. Nobody would have told you that the San Francisco 49ers would be 3-0. Nobody would have told you that Joe Burrow would be out after game 2. And nobody would have told you that the Baltimore Ravens have scored 111 points, which leads the NFL, and are 1-2, averaging 30 points a game. Nobody would have told you that. That's why I say this, and I'm going to say it with conviction. Predictions are nonsense. Predictions are done by marks. People who sit on the mic either get paid by their local radio station or a major radio station, or sit on their computer 5 days a week and just blah, 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 blah. There's only a few predictions I'm going to make. And there's one I've made for the past few years, and it's been guaranteed, and it's a lock. Buffalo's going to win the AFC East. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. Josh Allen is going to do what he's got to do. Lamar Jackson, despite being 1-2, he's still going to do what he's got to do. Andy Reid's going to find a way. Eagles are going to find a way. Kevin O'Connell's going to find a way. Those are general predictions you can make that make sense. But when you see some of these marks making predictions that are completely ridiculous and preposterous, it's like, really? So today's show is going to be the same as usual, 6 games. And then I'm going to do some other stuff after that, because I need to. This is stuff I need to cover because there's so much news in the NFL right now. Injuries, quarterback changes, all that stuff. So let's start with the Monday Nighter, because I actually sat and watched it. 14-14 at the half. So I'm going to start from the half. And you look at the game and you're like, wow, this is going to be a good one. You know, like you watch the game, you know it's going to be a good one. And Jared Goff was doing what he had to do. Lamar was doing what he had to do. And then halftime came, and then adjustments were made on both sides. Who made the adjustments to win? Well, it was Detroit. Like I said, after they lost to Green Bay week 1, I said, it's only week 1. It's only week 1. It's only week 1. Let's calm the brakes. Let's relax. Let's relax. Let's chill out. And so said, so done. So, and I mean, it was a very eventful game. Montgomery had a 72-yarder. Then there was a couple of trick plays between St. Brown and Goff to Gibbs. I mean, Montgomery making some key plays, and then, you know, Ahmad St. Brown on the 4th down in the 4th quarter. I mean, there was a plethora of impact plays that put Detroit in a fantastic position to win this football game. You know, and they ended up winning the game 38-30. And, you know, Detroit's continuing to find ways to win. That's why I say one loss means absolutely nothing. Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota are all tied at 2 wins apiece. You know, so, you know, it's that division is going to have 3 teams in the playoffs. That's the way it's going right now. I'm not saying it as a prediction, but the way it's going right now and the way these 3 teams are playing, and Chicago, who knows? Who knows what Chicago could do after their win Sunday? I'll get to them later on. But Jared Goff only had 1 touchdown. He had 1 touchdown pass. That was it. That was to Amon St. Brown. That was it. Montgomery ran for 151, 2 touchdowns. Gibbs ran for 67, 2 touchdowns. And they had a bunch of key plays in that game. Derrick Henry only ran for 50, he had 1 touchdown. Once again, the defense stifled it. Lamar Jackson, 21 for 27, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns, was sacked 7 times. That's the number you got to look at. The numbers I just mentioned before, fantastic. You hear those numbers, 288, 3 touchdowns, interception, he won the game. 7 sacks for a loss of 55 yards. Kelvin Shepard made adjustments in the second half, the defensive coordinator I speak of, and was fantastic. This is the growth. This is why I say sometimes you got to let the young guys roll. Get rid of these old guys like Matt Eberflus, what he was doing in again, I'll get to that game later on. But yeah, it was a fantastic game overall. It was a good game. It's a good football game. If you're a football fan, you enjoy games like this. Mark Andrews, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, tight end supreme, you know what I mean? He's a guy now in the AFC when it comes to tight ends, him and Kincaid, and there's a few others. Kelsey's kind of dipped a little bit, but Kelsey's got one of those big games coming up. So, but yeah, so Detroit wins 38-30. The next game I'm going to get to right now, because I need to get to this game. Packers and Browns. I've been talking about this Cleveland defense for how long? I've been talking about the Cleveland defense and how rough shot these guys are. These guys are rough shotters. They're absolute disruptors on defense, on Cleveland defense. The offense, don't even talk about the quarterback situation. But the defense has put their stamp in the last, 20 games in the NFL. They've lost some, they've won some. They have shown, and if you haven't paid attention, you're just a mark. These guys know how to play defense. They held the Packers to 10 points. 10 points. 10 points. And I was talking to some friends during those games, and during this game, I said the Cleveland defense, if they had some competency on offense, they would be 3-0. Joe Flacco went for 21 for 36, 142 yards, No touchdowns and an interception. Classic Joe Flacco. Jordan Love, same thing. 18 for 25, 183, one touchdown, one interception. Sacked 5 times for a loss of 34 yards. That's a Cleveland defense. Again. Like, come on. Like, when are we going to start looking at Cleveland's defense? The receivers, the best a receiver did was Matthew Golden with 4 receptions, 52 yards. And I'm looking at Cleveland's receiving and Njoku, Tillman, Fanning Jr., Jude, Isaiah Bond. These guys need a quarterback. Cleveland, hello, get a quarterback. This is not criticizing. This is critiquing. If Cleveland had a competent quarterback, they win this game and they go 3 and they win their first 3 games. They had enough to beat Cincinnati. If they had competency, they could have went toe-to-toe with Baltimore. And this game, which they had to struggle with a blocked field goal and that, whatever. Anyways, the Browns win 13-10. The next game, the Jets and the Bucks. Ooh. Excuse me. My apologies, guys. The Jets and the Bucks. What a game. Aaron Glenn with his dance. I have to bring this up. So a brethren of mine, he sent me some videos. There's 3 different videos with Aaron Glenn dancing after that blocked field goal for a touchdown, with 3 different sets of tracks, classic tracks, by the way. And I'm telling you, it was absolutely hilarious. I've been watching those videos back and forth. It's hilarious. Shout out to my brethren for sending me those videos. He knows exactly who he is. Thank you, and big appreciation for that. Those are videos, if you're having a bad day, if you get a chance, go watch Aaron Glenn's celebration after that. Those are videos that will actually just make you laugh and smile. Like, I call those appreciation videos. But anyways, the Buccaneers, they go 3-0. The Jets are 0-3. Tyrod Taylor once again finds a way to play and do his thing. 26 for 36, 197, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Sacked 4 times for a loss of 29 yards. Baker, 19 for 29, 233, 1 touchdown. Sacked once for 8 yards. Of course, Tyrod ran for 48 yards, and Baker ran for 44. Bucky Irving got his 66. Breece Hall only had 21 yards, and then Braylon Allen only had 30 yards rushing. And Garrett Wilson had his 1 touchdown, 84 yards receiving. Mbuku had his 85 yards. Sterling Shepard had 80. Mike Evans had 33 yards for 1 touchdown. Excuse me again. Bucky Irving ran for, it was a good game, but I think the highlight of the game was the blocks. A block field goal. I think there was 1 in this game. And it's really like a tale of, like, Baker Mayfield got drafted by Cleveland. Cleveland gave up on him. Cleveland gives up on anything that's good, by the way. They just have no common sense. That's why they're still indecisive about Shador and Dillon. I love it. It's just a good football game. Buccaneers win 29-27. Wow. Next order of business, Falcons and Panthers. Let me get to this one, because it's a tale of 2 different stories. Last week, Atlanta's defense was all over poor J.J. McCarthy, who still has got a lot to learn and grow. The Panthers won 30-0. Bryce Young, 16 for 24, 121, was sacked once for 7 yards loss. He ran for a touchdown, which I thought was great. Rico Dowell got 1 rushing touchdown. Michael Penix, 18 for 36, 172, threw 2 interceptions and was never sacked, though. As a result of this game and the way this game went, Kirk Cousins came in and had, 5 Five passes, 7 attempts, 5 for 7, 29 yards. Kirk Cousins coming in for a game that was pretty much dead. My takeaway from this is keep your eyes on Atlanta. Keep your eyes on Raheem Morris. And word is he fired his receiving coach, Ike Hilliard. I don't know why you're firing your receiving coach. This wasn't a receiving issue. This was a quarterback issue. My guy Penix had a bad game. It's okay. It's his second year in the league. These guys have to grow. I've been saying it, all these young quarterbacks, they got to grow. You got a lot of these coaches who are impatient. I know your job's on the line, but if you get the right coaching staff and the right personnel, you won't be doing these type of things. You wouldn't have put Kirk Cousins in the game. I gotta go at Raheem for this one. You don't fire a receiving coach for a game like this. This was just a bad game from everybody. If you're going to fire him, fire the entire coaching staff and put yourself on suspension. So I just didn't understand that move, allegedly. But it's yeah. Anyways, 30-0. And the way 30-0 sounds, it's like you would think they've got just one of those weird things. I don't know. And oh yes, it is. Ike Hilliard that did get fired, but it doesn't matter. They should fire all of them. They should fire themselves, and Coach Raheem should suspend himself because that was just terrible. That was a team loss. I don't like when coaches fire their other coaches on their team when they're the ones that choke the game out looking for a way out. When you start firing your coaches on your staff, it's a message that either you're not doing your job or something's about to happen to you at some point in time. So anyways, the next game I'm going to go straight to the next game. Bears and Cowboys. Wow. What have I been saying about Caleb Williams? You got to give the kid some time. I'm not a fan of his, but I'm a fan of his potential, if you understand what I mean. And this kid could throw the ball. And he did. Luther Burden III, 101, 1 touchdown. Roma Dunze as usual, 62 for 1. Caleb had, look at this, let me just give you his numbers. 19 for 28, 298, 4 touchdowns, wasn't touched once. He wasn't touched once. He wasn't touched once. He played a great game. It's going to take time with Ben Johnson, of course, that playbook. And you look at Dak. Dak was 31 for 40. He had to throw 40 times, 251, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, was sacked twice for 17 total yards and losses. I don't have anything else to say. I think Dallas knows what they got to do. You know, their defensive situation, we know what happened with Micah. And now CeeDee Lamb apparently is going to miss a few weeks. George Pickens did get a touchdown, but he had moments where he was frustrated at himself. This is going to be a trial and error season for Dallas. And until, again, as I say, that owner decides to put his ego aside and move on to doing something else, he's never going to get anywhere. He doesn't know the direction of common sense if you paid him to do it. Like, this is a trial and error year for Dallas. Dallas is going to go through some tough. They're going to win some tough games. So you got to be paid. These two teams that played, it's one of those teams. There's 2 different directions. They're both going to have rough patches, but they're going to win some games. Rams and Eagles. Rams are up 19. I'm going to go right to halftime. Rams are up 19-7. They had kicked 4 field goals. Why, I don't know. They kicked 2 out of those 4. Two out of those 4 touchdowns. They win this game. Complete negligence on the entire LA staff offensively. The Eagles just found a way to come back and win this game. They just found ways. Then, of course, they cap it off, the blocked field goal by Davis. My man just tumbled down the field and said, "Nah, I'm good," and scored that touchdown. That was just unbelievable how they ended that game. So Matt Stafford looks like he's hurt. Puka had 112. Devontae got his. Kyron Williams got 1 touchdown. Matt Stafford doesn't look like he's Matt Stafford of old. He's not moving right. Like, if you watch him, he's not moving right. We know he's got the back issues. I mean, he threw 33 times, which was good. 196, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But yeah, he's not moving well, and the Rams got to start thinking about the future when it comes to the quarterback position. But yeah, he wasn't moving too well. So, now let me get to news here, because there's some things that I want to talk about before I close this show. First and foremost, CJ Gardner Johnson got his ass released. I don't know why, with Houston, but apparently there were some issues within the locker room, and he wanted his release. Understandable. Very dysfunctional situation in Houston right now. CJ Gardner Johnson is coming from a Super Bowl team. He leaves from a team with a coach that's had some issues, goes to a team where a coach cannot control his staff. And why I say that about Houston, January 18th against KC, a defensive player by the name of Chris Boyd, who was drafted by Minnesota, by the way, pushed one of his coaches, Frank Ross. I don't know if you all remember that. And subsequently, the league had to step in to punish him. Who was standing there looking at him, not saying anything? DeMeco Ryans. So now CJ Gardner Johnson is probably saying, yo, you can't, what are you doing? You can't keep this thing under control. I'm cheering for DeMeco Ryans, but I got to be honest. Like, again, the marks will make excuses. I'm not. You're 0-3. Your record speaks for itself. The lack of control you have in that locker room. That's why you're 3-0. I hope he gets it together soon, because it's only going to get uglier. Next order of business. Koo is signed by the Giants. Let's hope that this second opportunity puts him in the right position to be successful. Mike Evans out a few weeks for fantasy owners. That's not good. Terry McLaurin could be out for a few weeks. That's not a good thing. Desmond Watson, if you guys know my man's story, he's over 400 pounds, has to lose weight for whatever reasons. Not for whatever reasons, but, safety reasons. So he's been signed to the practice squad. Hopefully this is the right direction that he's needed to, get to the position that because he could play. If you watch this kid at Florida, he could play. Russell Wilson has been benched. Jackson Dart's going to start. You didn't see that coming? I think the Russell Wilson era in the NFL as a starter is over. And I think maybe being a backup is potentially in his future, but who knows? But we do know Jackson Dart will start. Now to close off the show, I'm going to talk about something that I saw this afternoon. Rudy Johnson, if some of you who are big football fans like myself, who played for Cincinnati, passed away. Was reported on TMZ, but nothing was said I didn't see anything on the ESPN headlines about it. Of course, not surprised, because ESPN is a joke owned by Disney. But the reports are suicide. Let me say this, guys, and this is how I'm going to close off the show. Mental health is not a joke. I mention it a lot, and I say it because it's real. A lot of guys, a lot of young men are going through this. A lot of older men are going through this, especially in the Black community. And, they always say, well, oh, yeah, you got to be the tough guy. You got to, if you got a problem, somebody asks you how your day is, say, oh, my day was fine. Meanwhile, you're just, it's just eating you inside. Like, it's just driving you insane. And I think more Black men in the community need to speak. I know it's hard because a lot of people are just going to wave you off, but there is somewhere in that dark space, in that dark path, there's something or someone that you can reach out to and talk to, or whatever the case may be, or just decompress or meditate or something. Because mental health is killing the Black community. It's killing the Black community. It's killing people. It's killing young children. It's killing young teenagers of all ages, all colors, all genders. So mental health, take care of your mental health. People say, oh, I got to do this. You cannot take care of your family. You cannot take care of life itself. You cannot do the things you want to do with a clear mind unless your mental health is taken care of. If you do not have your mental health in check, everything else is going to fail. So please, everybody, keep your mental health in check. That's it. That's another edition of PICK6, week 3. Week 4 is coming up. Stay tuned. I'm signing off. Peace. Good morning, good day, good night. Sorry, good evening, good night. Wherever you are in the world, I'm out. Peace.